the Kulthum hologram concert.
So Kulthum, for people who don't know,
she is probably like the epitome, the top #1 iconic songstress, singer of the Arab world. Soad Hosny. And for those of you who don't know Soad Hosny, she is also one of the most top Arab Egyptian actresses of the time.
Junket interviews are these kind of like interviews which a lot of films will carry as part of their press package.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is they'll sit these two or maybe one or sometimes 3 celebrities in a hotel room, all the lights and cameras in action, and then they'll just stack up the interviews, trying to get like the best clip or the best answer out of a really, really bored, grumpy celebrity.
JLo has a new relationship. She has a new project coming out. We know that there's always something happening behind the scenes, which is a very Kardashian type kind of approach to media. She has just been so overexposed in our news feeds that her concert, no one's buying tickets to her concert. So she's had to cancel it, right?
Well, she said that part of the reason she's cancelling it because of heartbreak. Hello and welcome. Today we are going to be speaking about Dubai Opera House.
And the 10 Arabic films in the 70s that you have to see.
This is Culture Bites coming to you from the National News. I'm Enas.
And I'm Maan. Hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm very well. I'm very much looking forward to Eid.
Yes, it's around the corner.
It's around the corner and I cannot wait. It's been a very long term if you have children.
Yeah.
Because there's no summer half term because Eid is coming in the summer. So it's been like a long time. I can't wait.
And the only opposite of silver lining, I don't know what that is, of Eid is that you know summer's coming and it's going to be very hot.
Yes.
And people are doing things, planning things. They're either going away or they're staying in town.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans?
Well, we are going to be heading back to London for a little bit.
Nice.
But I know lots of people actually are choosing to spend their summer vacation here.
Yeah.
Because there's air conditioning. And sometimes when you go back home to Europe, there's no air conditioning and it's hot. It's getting hotter. So
and there's stuff to do here.
And there's always stuff to do here, right? And there's always stuff to do which is kind of like weather friendly.
Well, you're particularly excited about something.
I am particularly excited about something. My children are geared up because Inside Out 2 is going to be released.
You know, I've never seen the first one. I know it's an important animated film and it's a really clever premise, but I haven't seen it. Okay. People love it.
So let me explain the premise.
Yeah.
There's a little girl and her name is Riley. And instead of getting kind of like, no, let me rewind. So there's a little girl called Riley and you get a cartoon version of her thoughts through her emotions, but all of her emotions are different characters.
Different personalities.
So you have like sadness, joy, anger, and these are all characters that are going on inside her mind and they're giving a perspective on her life. So the main character of the film is actually her emotion called Joy. And Joy is played by Amy Poehler, who's the famous American comedian. Yeah, exactly. Really, really funny. And you get this kind of like vision of Riley going through quite a traumatic move in the first film, yeah. Exactly, the first film. She moves from like one town and she moves to San Francisco and it's all quite new. And during this time, she really kind of like has to deal with sadness for the first time. So sadness appears in her consciousness.
Got you. Oh, what a cool premise.
It's a really cool premise. It's a way of, I think, children really understanding their emotions. My kids absolutely adore this film and we're really excited about.
So what's happening in the second one?
So the second one is following Riley again, but she's going through puberty.
Oh, so the emotions are going to be all...
Exactly. And there's new emotions. So there's going to be new
anger
characters.
And frustration and...
I feel like anxiety is going to pop up.
Oh, right.
I think like I tried to do some digging online. I didn't manage to find like exactly who the characters are. And sometimes I hate that. I hate when I do too much digging over a new film.
Because you end up giving yourself spoiler alerts.
100%.
Yeah.
I even hate watching trailers before I go and see a film.
I try not to, especially if the trailer is like 3 minutes long. Yeah. And you're like, I might as well just see the whole film right now.
Yeah. 3 minutes, hour and a half, same thing.
Have your kids are they into Matilda?
Love Matilda.
The book or the movie
All of it. Movie, book, and the stage show.
So I love the book by Roald Dahl. I love the movie with Danny DeVito and his wife Pearl, whatever.
Oh, the old one, not the Tim Minchin one.
Not the one?
Tim Minchin?
No, I didn't.
You haven't seen that one?
The musical one on Netflix with
one.
Emma Thompson as
Trunchbull.
I haven't seen it, but I also have seen recently my nephew and my nieces were in their school play for end of year school play for Matilda.
Wow.
Which was really cool to see. And I'm sure a lot of parents, I'm not a parent, but a lot of parents, their kids are probably in end of year school plays and stuff like that. So I went and watched that. And I remembered that last year I also watched Matilda on the Dubai Opera House. That like big, and actually it's coming to Abu Dhabi as well.
Yes, it's already been. Oh, no, wait, is it coming?
I think it's coming.
Yeah.
And it's very different from the book and the movie. And this is a very controversial opinion.
Ooh.
But Matilda is very annoying. Because she's kind of, in the play, she's a bit of a know-it-all.
Yes.
However, in the book and the movie, she's just this girl who wants to read. And, you know, she likes her teacher and her parents are really annoying. But in the play, I guess with the play, they have to sort of like condense the story down or make it a bit more like the high is really high, the low is really low or something. And everything feels a bit more flat. And she just comes off as this like real, you know, those kids at school, when you were in school.
That was probably me.
That were like Hermione Granger on. Yes.
Miss, that was me.
Yeah.
I know the answer.
Hermione Granger on steroids. So
I'm so embarrassed by it. I shouldn't have said that. I can hear all my friends and family laughing now.
Because they remember?
Because they know.
They know.
Yeah, they know what
So
I'm
she
like.
comes off a bit like that. But look, it's a good thing to take your kids to.
Yes.
If you can, or it's a good thing for your kids to be a part of. But I loved watching at the Opera House, Dubai Opera House. Have you been, by the way, yet?
I have been to the Dubai Opera House now, yes.
Oh, what did you see there?
I didn't go and see anything. I was invited to an event.
Oh, okay.
Snore.
But it's a beautiful venue.
It's stunning.
Really great acoustics. When they had Les Miserables there, I interviewed one of the cast members, and she had said that she's performed all over the world. She was like, Dubai Opera House has the best acoustics.
Wow.
It has the best facilities. It was pretty cool.
But yeah, they also building.
It's a beautiful building. They also have a show coming up in June of the Kulthum hologram concert.
What?
Which is really cool. And
what
this
is
is the second time. So basically, it's Kulthum in concert.
So Kulthum, for people who don't know,
she is probably like the epitome, the top #1 iconic songstress singer of the Arab world.
Yeah, like imagine a like bigger, more political in some ways Celine Dion
mixed with Aretha Franklin, mixed with Nina Simone. Like she's everything. She's like socially relevant, politically relevant. Like her voice is out of this world, and all of her music was written by like the top
poets.
What is it? Mulhanin in English? I forgot. Harmony people who make harmonies.
Yeah.
Lyricists, harmony people, musicians, like all the top people of the time in the golden age of Egyptian Arab music.
Icon.
She's an icon.
She's an absolute icon. And I think it's really hard to even understand sometimes. I mean, especially like, I think I studied her at university.
Probably.
When we studied her in terms of like, in terms of like Egyptian, politics and national relevance that Kulthum held at the time during the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And then I also did do a short course. This is so lame on actually like her.
That's not lame. That sounds so cool.
Yeah, on her vocal levels.
Yeah, because
she sang in tune with the oud, which is a different way of singing. Oud is like the Arabian lute.
Yeah.
So yeah, really interesting character, formidable figure, and she's coming to Dubai Opera in a hologram.
So like that was all the rage a couple of years ago. Like they had a hologram of Tupac and Whitney Houston and everything.
I went to go and see that ABBA Voyage, which I think is still going on in the UK. Yeah.
So it's a big thing. But yeah, I think this is the second time it happens with Kulthum. People loved it. But I was thinking about how there's so many opera houses now popping up everywhere. One in Saudi just opened. They had the opera of Al-Zarqa Al-Yamama, which one of our writers, Saeed, went to see, and he wrote a review on it on the website.
Amazing.
Also, there is another one planning to be opened. Apparently, Azizi Construction have announced it in Dubai. There's also one in Sharjah opening in 2027. So opera houses are a big deal.
Yeah, they're a big deal. And they're also not just for operas, as we've said. There's a lot of theatre productions go on there.
Yeah.
I think sometimes like in England, we'd say like opera house and it's just, you think of like a big fat lady singing.
Yeah.
But that's not the case here. Like there's a lot of theatre, music, different shows. But as you said, acoustics really taken into consideration into these buildings.
Because a lot of the older opera houses in Europe, they're old. So sometimes like the acoustics or the facilities are not that great. But I think now that they're being built here, they're thinking about all of these things in advance. But I think like the how do I say, this wave of opera houses opening up in the region. It's kind of a marker of, historically, when you build an opera house in a city, an opera house is not supposed to be like a practical thing. It's not like, oh, let's create this brutalist building because people need this to go and like do work and leave home. You have the freedom and the imagination to build something really extravagant, really over the top. And it's kind of showing off in a city. It's not only its imagination, but what they can do. Like, it's showing like, look how amazing, look how creative we are in the design of our opera house. So opera house is not supposed to be like just another building. It's supposed to be a jewel of the city. I mean, historically, all over the world, there have been opera houses that are always like either overlooking the ocean, or they've been built in a really interesting way, because they're supposed to be the home of culture. They're supposed to be the home of performance. They're supposed to be the center of a city, of where you go and experience the culture of the moment, or like the culture of a historical past. So I think it's really exciting and interesting that in the UAE and across the region, all these opera houses are being built to show the architectural prowess of where we are right now, and also the fact that culture is being lifted in the region as something of great importance, and that they're pouring attention and money and resources and focus on something like that.
I love that.
And I think that's why anything you can go to see in an opera house in the region, you must go to support the ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much to add to that, man. You just sold opera houses to me. I mean, I was only thinking of Sydney Opera House. That's like a big famous one.
It is.
But there's tons now.
And even the Dubai Opera House, you can, I believe, still do tours on Saturday mornings, where they take you around and show you how it was built, the architectural features, the fact that it's like right by the Burj and it's by the water. So that's also really cool to be able to do that, to appreciate the architecture and the design of the building, you know?
Lovely. Well, I think we should all try and head down there, especially during Eid. I bet there's loads of things on.
Yeah, and summer.
But if you're not going out, you could stay in and watch some movies.
That's some movies, yeah. Watch some historically relevant, culturally relevant movies.
So tell me a bit about this. So you put this in the show notes.
Yes.
I don't know much about it. You said, right, these are the 10 must-watch Arabic movies from the 1970s. Why the 1970s?
So I've been working on this sort of like a series where I focus on each decade. So I started with the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, and the must-watch films from the Arab world at that time.
Nice.
So I just did the 1970s film. The 1970s was a really interesting time in the Arab world. A lot of Arab countries were sort of leaving monarchies and becoming nations.
Was Pan-Arabism around that time?
Pan-Arabism was sort of rising as an idea. It was after the 1967 war. And so there was a lot of ideas in Arab society about, with the younger generation, trying to figure out how to meld this idea of modernity and still hold on to tradition, or to leave tradition and just be these modern Arabs. And what does it mean to be a modern Arab?
Yeah.
So a lot of the films at the time reflected that, either in a very serious way or more of a comical way. And a lot of the films from that time were based on really important novels, like, for example, Najib Mahfouz, who is like one of the most important, he's a Pulitzer Prize-winning novelist from Egypt.
I think he also won the Nobel Prize.
Oh, Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
So a lot of the novels a lot of the movies were based on his novels, and also Yusuf Shaheen, who is the most prolific Egyptian director of the time, who was really interested in this idea of New Egypt, or the new Arab versus the traditional Arab, and that clash of what happens between those two things when they meet. His films are prolific. He's really important if you've heard of him. But for the story, for today, I want to focus on one movie, which is probably one of my most favorite Arab films and films of all time.
Ooh.
Have you heard of Khaly Balak Men Zozo?
No. Can you say that slower? And what is that in English?
Khaly Balak Men Zozo.
Khaly Balak Men Zozo.
Yes. Which translates to take care of Zuzu, I guess.
Take care, or not watch out.
Or watch out for Zuzu. I mean, you can translate it in different ways. In my head, it makes more sense like take care.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I guess watch out for Zuzu. So Zuzu is a name. So the film stars Soad Hosny. And for those of you who don't know Soad Hosny, she is also one of the most top Arab Egyptian actresses of the time. I can't even say there's an American or a Western equivalent. I don't want to say she is the Marilyn Monroe or the Meryl Streep.
Or the Elizabeth Taylor.
Or whatever. She's such a combination. She's so unique. There isn't a Western version, because she's one of those few actresses that can sing, that can dance, that can act in really serious roles. She can also play like the girl next door, the wholesome character. She can also be like a seductress. She's also a great dancer. She's also like a rom-com lead. So she could do it all.
I think we have to say that this was definitely like during the golden era.
Yes.
Of like,
or one of the golden
or one
eras,
of the golden eras. I feel like we're in another golden era right now, but like I think that this was definitely a golden era for Egyptian cinema.
And this particular film, Khaly Balak Men Zozo, is so important because of the 1970s. It's the film that combines. It is the rom-com or the blueprint for the rom-com in the Arab world.
Okay.
It is also a movie about social conventions. It's a movie about the new Arab world. So basically the story revolves around this young girl, Zuzu, who's going to university, and she ends up falling in love with her professor, who is the Egyptian actor Hussein Fahmy. He's still around today and he's still acting today. And they form a love connection. And and when he breaks up with his fiancée to be with her, the fiancée gets really annoyed and extracts revenge on Zuzu and lets everyone know. She reveals the fact that Zuzu comes from a family of performers and that Zuzu moonlights as a belly dancer. So at the time, being from a performer family and being a belly dancer was seen as something that was sort of low class, not acceptable in society. And this kind of creates like an issue in her university with her peers because she was hiding this from them, and with her professor as well. And the story shows you the reaction of people discovering this about her and why she was trying to hide this fact about her life, but then also embracing it, embracing her family, embracing her herself as a dancer and as a performer. And the film has one of the most iconic belly dancing scenes, which is so stunning. It's so beautiful. And also it touches on these points in society at the time about not only what does it mean to be Arabic, but what does it mean to be a modern Arab? Can you be someone who cares about these old traditions? Can you still be like a belly dancer or a performer, but still be a person in society who is like considered like good and bad or whatever, like all of these very like
polarized kind
polarized
of
things.
Yeah.
But it does it in such a fun, playful way, and there's like some great dance sequences, some great musical numbers in the film.
So this is your top film from the 1970s for the Middle East,
for the Middle East,
Arabic
yes.
cinema.
I think as well, I was speaking to our producer, like if you're someone who's learning Arabic or somebody who is really interested to understand more about Arab culture, this is one of the films you should definitely watch because the dialogue and the dialect is very easy to understand. It's not like this deep intellectual dialogue, you know, it's very easy to pick up. It's very accessible is what I'm trying to say. And it's just beautiful, like filmed. And like, I love Soad Hosny. I think she is a treasure of the Arab world. And she was so influential, especially in this film. You see like the top like fashion, makeup trends, hair trends, fashion from the 70s in the Arab world. Like I remember my aunts were telling me, and they were in Iraq by the time when this film came out in 1972, that after this film came out, everybody was just dressing like Soad Hosny. They were doing their eyeliner like Soad Hosny. They were trying to do her hair like Soad Hosny. So it was a very influential film, and it's still like very much relevant today. People are always referencing it, and referencing lines from the film.
Love it. So where can we see it?
I think it's available on lots of Arab channels. It's one of those films that's played all the time.
Okay.
NBC, OSN. It's also available on YouTube, which is...
I think there's a lot of great Arabic cinema actually that is available on YouTube.
Exactly.
Which is, I know, is a bit sneaky, but a lot of the time it has subtitles as well. Like I know the Yakubian building is on there. Yeah.
And sometimes these Arab channels, their YouTube channel will put the film on as well. And look, if you're someone who has a low attention span, just watch clips of it on YouTube, because a lot of these channels put clips of the like iconic scenes. Like the belly dance sequence that she does in that film is so stunning. And I just want to say, as well in the film, you see Soad Hosny's prowess as an actress, because you see her being this like wholesome, girly girl, this intelligent woman. You see her as a seductress dancing. Like you see her in all, you know, her trajectory as a character in the film goes through all these different phases, which is really cool to watch in one film. And you see her again, her prowess as an actress.
Wow.
You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it yet, no.
You must.
Okay, right, that's it. I've been told.
You must. It's your homework. Next week I'm going to ask you.
Oh, goodness. There's a lot of homework on these days.
Or actually a week after next, because I don't want to give anything away, but we have a special episode coming up next week.
I know. Well, hopefully, if it comes through.
It will come through. Manifest it.
Manifest it. I'm manifesting a very special episode.
You're manifesting.
I see what you did there.
You need to manifest a special guest for next week. We
have a special guest for next week, which we're really excited about.
It's happening.
It is happening. It is happening.
Can you guys guess who it is if you have any inklings?
Yeah, if you think you know who it is,
comment below.
Message us.
Yeah,
let
DM
us know. DM us.
Yeah.
DM me on my Instagram. That'd be hilarious. If someone actually gets it right, I'd be so impressed.
I'll be shocked. But speaking of celebrities.
Speaking of celebrities.
And important people.
So this story caught my eye. So Lupita Nyong'o has come out and has kind of criticized junket interviews. Do you know what a junket interview is?
Of course, I'm a journalist.
You're a journalist. Hi, I'm a journalist. So junket interviews are these kind of interviews which a lot of films will carry as part of their press package.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is they'll sit these two or maybe one or sometimes three celebrities in a hotel room, all the lights and cameras in action, and then they'll just stack up the interviews. So you've probably seen clips of this online. After COVID, actually, they started doing some of them on Zoom.
Yeah.
So they have these really famous celebrities. They're sat in front of a camera somewhere, and they just click through multiple journalists and do loads and loads of interviews. They can get to 50
or 60 a day or something.
Yeah.
And now with Zoom, they do them internationally as well.
Yeah, they do them internationally. When I was an entertainment...
Sorry, I just want to say one thing. If anyone here is a rom-com fan and you've seen Notting Hill, there's that scene where Hugh Grant stumbles upon a press junket just to meet Julia Roberts, who is the actress, and he becomes... So you probably know about it. You've probably seen press junkets in films.
Yes.
But yeah, Notting Hill fans, you'll know.
Bizarre thing. So when I was an entertainment journalist for quite a while, I'd say for about a couple of years. And I used to go to these things all the time. And you'd end up in these hotel rooms. I mean, I've been in a hotel room with Joaquin Phoenix, Dwayne Johnson, sometimes with loads of lights and cameras in action, and sometimes with not that much. And you'd sit there, and so often the person you're sat opposite is bored. So you're trying to get the best clip or the best answer out of a really, really bored, grumpy celebrity. I remember once actually I spoke to Kirsten
Dunst?
Kirsten, yeah.
I will not hear a word against her.
No, I won't say anything. But her mother's name is very similar to mine. So she perked up slightly.
Her son's called, obviously I'm a fan, her son's called Enas.
Oh, so and her mum is called Enas.
Okay.
So she heard my name and she perked up, and but then she carried on eating her salad. And I was doing an interview for radio, and you can't have someone eating a salad and answering.
Crunch, yeah.
So I had to ask her to stop eating, which made me feel really bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, you get in these situations, and I've had some really awkward interactions. So Lupita coming out and saying these things, it really made me start to think about new and fresh ways that journalists are trying to engage. But do you think she has this is a controversial question. Do you think she has a right to say that? Because not only her, Lupita Nyong'o, the guy from that Irish actor that everybody loves, I can't pronounce his name. The one who just won the Oscar. Oh, Cillian Murphy. Yes. So he's also I don't like them. And a lot of celebrities have come out and said, we don't enjoy these press junkets. But part of the argument there is, listen, you're getting paid X amount of money to support this film, to market. Yeah. Part of that is meeting all of these journalists who are from all these different publications that they have a job to do. Mm-hmm. They're trying to market your film so people can go watch it. So do they have a right to complain, do you think? I see, this is where it becomes really difficult, right? Because I've seen the journalists, as a journalist, I've been in the situation where I've been sat opposite a really bored celebrity, and I'm trying to get the last bits of energy out of them so that actually what I'm presenting to my boss is something that's exciting or new. Otherwise it's just did you? I remember it was back in the early noughties. It was always how did you lose weight for the role? They would get asked things like that.
Terrible.
And now you get those snippets right online of just you can't ask celebrities these questions. But anyway, I was just thinking about this really difficult relationship sometimes that celebrities have with journalists on promoting their own stuff. And sometimes they really get into it and it's really fun. So I was thinking about Bridgerton recently and Nicola.
Amazing. She plays Penelope Featherington in the film.
And everyone's been really excited because her and Luke Newton have really good chemistry.
Yeah.
So even in all of their junkets, they've had amazing chemistry and they've been able to do like really fun things, which kind of like fits with like this more social media age. But yeah, we still suffer sometimes, like these really bored celebrities stuck in places.
Can I say something controversial?
Go.
Because I'm the controversial guy today. Imagine in our job or any job, you're just sick of meetings and you just don't want to talk. Like that is the equivalent, except we're not getting paid like tens of millions of dollars. And you're like, I just don't feel like talking today. I'm sick of answering the same questions. A part of me is like, suck it up. Like people do this on average, like every day as part of their everyday job. Like, sure, it's tiring and it sucks, but you're in a film, you're there to promote it. Like, get over yourself. Like, I have no pity for celebrities when it comes to this stuff. Like, and it's get over it.
I think you are right. I think you are right. And I think that like, as somebody who's been on the other side of what trying to get like the energy out of a celebrity, often, by the way, you only have 3 minutes. So you'll sit down and the PR person will be like, 3 minutes. And you're like, oh, hi. And then by the time you've said hello, you're like, oh my God, I've only got 2 minutes left. And you're kind of on edge the whole time. And they're just bored. Yeah. No answers. And it's just, I think you're right. I think they have to like just grow up and just give the journalists what they want.
And listen, also there's some celebrities that are great. Anne Hathaway is amazing.
So good.
Kate Blanchett, amazing. Meryl Streep, amazing. In
Emily
these
Blunt.
Yes.
I interviewed Emily Blunt. She was so much fun. She just came out with like loads of energy. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, was also really lovely. Who was that guy who was in Breaking Bad? Bryan
Cranston.
Yeah, he's
great.
Absolutely brilliant.
One of the bad things about press junket culture that I think is not so much we feel bad for celebrities, is the fact that sometimes press junkets overexpose celebrities. Okay?
Yes, and there's been overexposure of one at the
particular person right now who's overexposed is J-Lo.
I don't know like whether how much I believe this. Sometimes I think that this has been blown up. It's like one of those internet culture things. But explain a bit more.
Okay, so I don't think this is a case of the Nickelback. Remember when everyone hated Nickelback because Nickelback was just cool to hate? I don't think this is exactly like that. I think like over the past 6 months, maybe the past year, we've seen too much of J-Lo. She got back together with she broke up with A-Rod, got back together with Ben Affleck. She's had 2 movies come out. One movie was released on Hulu or something. It was her own movie based on her. It was just a mishmash of stuff that made no sense. She has the science fiction movie now, Atlas, which is not great.
It's not being received very well.
It's not received very well. She had the documentary on Netflix, which has been, she's been bullied on TikTok because there was just some cringy moments.
Very.
When she was in the gym with her hair. This reminds me when I was a free-spirited girl in the Bronx. Like, it's a bit cringy. And I think people, especially from the Bronx, are like, stop using the Bronx and pretending that you're from the Bronx as like a way to be like relatable and cool. When really you're J-Lo, you wear fur, you wear diamonds, you're like the Elizabeth Taylor of the new age or whatever, of modern times. And again, now there's all these rumors that her and Ben Affleck are having issues after having this, massive wedding and da-da-da. So she has just been so overexposed in our news feeds that her concert, no one's buying tickets to her concert. So she's had to cancel it, right?
Well, she said that part of the reason she's cancelling it because of heartbreak. So, which is what's fueled also this rumor that her and Affleck are on rocks.
She said that I want to spend more time with family and friends. I mean, what else are you going to say? No one's buying my tickets? Like, you're going to say that. It's like the typical line. So yeah, maybe they are breaking up, maybe they're not. But like, do you care? I'm like, khalas, I don't care.
Khalas? She looks phenomenal for her age. I think she's a bit of an icon in lots of ways. I did like her rom-com era, like Made in Manhattan.
She is definitely a rom-com queen. We can give her that. Made in Manhattan, Wedding Planner, Mother-in-law, Monster-in-Law with Jane Fonda. Like she has her,
She had her moments.
But Sorry,
But-
go on.
yeah,
I have a lot to
well,
say about this.
you
But
have
I
so
think
much
J-Lo
more.
is one of those actors that she really relies on her personal life to feed into her career. So it's always a reflection. Who she's dating and she always times those things, or her team times those things very well. J-Lo has a new relationship. She has a new project coming out. We know that there's always something happening behind the scenes, which is a very Kardashian type kind of approach to media, which sometimes I think it worked in the early noughties when we weren't always on TikTok on social media. But now, like, she needs a new plan. She needs to disappear.
Disappear for a while.
She needs to do a Beyonce, disappear for 2 or 3 years, be in the background, and then come back, you know? But she's too much in our...
It's interesting, isn't it? I think it's been unfortunate as well for J-Lo, because a lot of people remember at the start of her career that she was with Puff Daddy at the time.
Yeah, and now he's...
And
all
Sean
over the
Combs.
place,
And
yeah.
I think now he's definitely involved in a lot of controversy from that era, that she's kind of like being sucked into that, and like she's being questioned a bit about her relationship with him at the beginning of her career. And then you've also got, that she's, that film on Netflix is really bad.
It's really bad. And what's really, you can look at this as a good thing or a bad thing about social media culture, is they will go and they will pick at every little interview someone like J-Lo has done. And then you get people who are like, I waited on J-Lo. I was at the airport when J-Lo was there, saying all of these obviously you have to take some of these stories with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But altogether, it's kind of creating this very negative picture of J-Lo as a person. And how much you believe that is really up to you. But whatever, it's an overexposure of the celebrity. Do you know what I mean?
And you're over it.
And I'm just like, who is her team? I want to speak to her team and just give them some counsel. Like, guys, just get her to go to Geneva, to just disappear for a while, and then come back in 5 years with a movie. Like, she doesn't have to be there all the time.
Yeah.
And especially in her documentary where she was really upset. There was like a scene where she was upset she was nominated for an Oscar, or she was upset that she and Shakira were both at the Super Bowl. They were at the Super Bowl halftime show. It wasn't just her. And there comes a point where we're like, I'm sorry, I can't feel sorry for a celebrity. It was like during COVID when celebrities were like, I'm stuck in this massive mansion. No one cares. Like, we don't feel sorry for you. You are famous. You're rich. You're great. Like, khalas. Like, sometimes these documentaries that are coming out, they're weird.
Like giving us too much.
And like, stop. Even though they're people and humans, we're not going to feel sorry for you when you're complaining that you didn't win an Oscar when you are one of the most famous names in the world. You know what I mean? So
you're not struggling. You're okay.
Yes, you're okay.
Just you know what? Count your blessings,
Yes.
J-Lo.
Count your blessings, and think of a new way to approach fame in the social media era, because people are heartless.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going back to like junkets and stuff, is like celebrities can do things by themselves now. We don't need to have like a lot of what we used to have in the past. So it's just like, be smart about it.
But in saying
Have a
that,
strategy.
I'm always devil's advocate. I'll be quick about this. Monique, the actress, you know her? She was in Precious. Remember that film Precious?
Yes.
And she was the mother,
Yes.
and she won the Oscar. She has spoken a lot about how the fact that she refused to do some press junkets in Cannes because it wasn't part of her contract,
Yeah.
and she didn't want to overdo it. She didn't want to do things because it was an independent film, and she didn't want to do things that she wasn't paid for. And the film was produced by Oprah Winfrey, Lee Daniels, and somebody else whose name escapes me now. And she claims that ever since she refused to do that press junket in Cannes, I think it was Cannes, despite winning an Oscar, she was blackballed from Hollywood for years.
Wow.
So she talks about how there's this culture in Hollywood that if you don't say, I will jump this high if you're told to jump, you will be. So it's a difficult
I remember
gray area to...
being on the other side of those junkets. I was so jealous. I was like, put me in a room, get me a Caesar salad delivered to your hotel
hell
room.
yes.
I mean, I've seen celebrities as well smoking indoors in these rooms. Like, they can do whatever they want, okay? They're just living their best life. They've got like 3 people, a makeup artist. Just give me that job. I'll sit there and talk about myself.
Talk about your work. I would love that. I mean, look at us now. We're over talking. I'm happy to. You're paying me to over talk? Sure, I'll do it.
Yeah. Where's that Caesar salad, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. This has been Culture Bites.
If you like this episode, listen to it on all podcast platforms and mediums, and tell your friends and family, and follow us on social media.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.